There's a book that was written on the All Blacks called Legacy. I don't know how many have read it, but the culture that's instilled in the All Blacks camp is one to marvel at. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. Once you're done with training, once you're done with everything, you go back, you clean your own stuff up, and then you walk out the door. Just because you're an All Black doesn't give you any extra entitlements. You've earned the jersey. You still have to respect it. And that creates such a powerful mindset in your team. It just adds to your drive to win.
Yeah, and look, what you've said there, Shivank, is where continuity is beyond the individual. So you may have a different
Yep.
head coach for the All Blacks, right? So obviously, in the last decade, we've seen the transition from Graham Henry to Steve Hansen, and then from Steve Hansen now to Ian Foster. But that culture, right? I think it's up to the senior management within the franchise or the team to recognize that this is something we're going to
Yep.
keep because it works for us. How many times have we seen in football where a new manager's come in and he said, "Look, we're going to rip up the playbook," right? We actually we're talking about Ferguson earlier. A lot of people that wrote about his successor, David Moyes, they say the biggest mistake he made was getting rid of
Mm.
all of the coaching staff under Ferguson, because with that you lost some of that culture, you lost some of that drive that Ferguson had distilled down to some of the coaches at a lower level. And by coming
Yep.
in and saying, I'm the new guy, I'm going to bring in my people and we're going to do this my way. I'm not saying United would have won the title under David Moyes, but it would not have been as painful.
Mm.
It would
And
not have been as
just
jarring, definitely.
Exactly.
mm. And while we're talking on continuity, I have to reiterate, just like last week, Punjab is not how you do continuity. They finished IPL again, seventh.
Uh, sidetracking quickly from Punjab. There is something I'd like to throw back your way, Shivank. Now, as much as
Mhm.
Ali and I have spoken about continuity and the need to sort of continue the things that work as you replace the figureheads of the organization, how do Chelsea keep doing it? It's one of these baffling things where every time they sack a manager, Ali and I often we love to have a laugh at Chelsea, but there you guys are, a number of months later, winning the big trophies. How does this continuity thing work with Chelsea, my friend?
Well, we keep continuity at the highest level, i.e., well, used to with Roman Abramovich. There's your sense of continuity. We had continuity with the board and the players. We just changed one layer in the middle. Now, all jokes aside, there were two reasons why it Chelsea seems like the polar opposite to how continuity works. The first thing is every time a new manager came in, even though they brought in their own coaching staff, there was always someone in the coaching staff who was connected to the club in some way or the other. So it doesn't matter if the new coach doesn't speak the language or is fairly new to the country. There will always be a sense of
Mm.
continuity or something that connects the team management to the fabric of the club.
Mm,
You can take the current team, for example. Before, not well, up until very recently, Joe Edwards was still at the club. He was the coach at the academy. Frank Lampard's backroom staff was entirely people who are connected to Chelsea through and through. You
mm,
keep on going back. Maurizio Sarri, he had Gianfranco Zola, one of the best Chelsea players ever, in his coaching
Mm.
staff. So that's one way to keep continuity. The second way to keep continuity is you have intelligent players in your team. Okay, regardless of how you acquire them, whether you pay the big bucks or whether they come through your academy or you moneyball the thing, you have intelligent players who are comfortable playing multiple systems. So
mm.
even if the manager comes in, rips the playbook out, we go from a high line to a medium line, it doesn't matter because the players have high enough of a footballing IQ that they just adapt to it. And if you
Yep.
have strong leaders in the group, which we saw in the late 2000s, so when you have the likes of Drogba,
Mm.
Terry, Lampard, Ballack, all international captains of their in their own rights leading the pack, it doesn't matter who the manager is as much because you still have a
Yeah.
core leadership group that is driving the team to success. So it may not be evident that there is continuity at the club. The fact is, there always was continuity at the club, and that's why we've been successful. We haven't been great in the league over the last 10, 12, 15 years, evidenced by the fact that we've only won it twice. But
Mm.
we've been a very successful cup team simply on this principle.
Yeah, and I guess what I'm hearing from that, Shivank, is there is a model there that perhaps has a method to the madness. And looking in sometimes it does feel like there is a sense of madness going on here.
Oh, there is, don't
But
get me wrong, there is still a big sense of madness.
but
I would
what you've said
say
makes
that the secret sauce is what Jose brought to Chelsea, and that's that siege mentality. And every time Chelsea drop a manager, they get into that siege mentality, and then they all kind of band together and go and win something.
basically. Basically. So, and it's one of the reasons why, Jose might be who he is now, but I'll always have respect for him as a manager because what he did back in 2004 to 2007 has basically shaped what this club is today. And so for that, I'll always ever be grateful to him.